Welcome to the Home Team Podcast. I'm Carl Falconer.
And I'm Danny Arroyo.
And we're tackling homelessness.
Today in our podcast, we will discuss two of our passions, football and ending homelessness. Please join us to 4 quarters with our topic this week being employment among people experiencing homelessness. So, how was your weekend?
Weekend was good. Relaxed, did stuff around the house. Watched some football, of course. We'll talk about that later. Yeah, pretty much. Got ready for the point-in-time count.
Yeah.
Which is going on this week here in Central Florida. So Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday of this week, we have our point-in-time count.
How was your first day?
It was good. It was good. Yeah, I didn't find anybody. Actually, we did find 2 people. One, but they had already been counted. But I went up to Seminole County, and it was a lot of rural area. Had some really great volunteers who went out. That was fantastic, but we didn't really find anybody. But that's okay. I mean, obviously we covered the area and, did what we were supposed to do. So we were ready.
Good.
Yeah. How about you?
What did I do? I can't remember. I think I laid out at home.
Did you go to one of the plays?
Oh, yes, I did. Yes.
Oh, you did?
I went to see Harry Potter and the Cursed Child.
Oh, okay.
Fantastic.
Okay.
It was great.
Well, I have tickets for that for my wife and daughter. I got that for Christmas for them.
It was really good show, yeah. And then just hung out around the house. But I did the pig count yesterday. I did all day. I did both shifts. We've identified 5 in the first shift, which is near where we're at. In Apopka, yep. Okay. So on OBT, met a couple of vets. Wow. So we did good. And then the second shift, I went with 2 of my case managers, and we identified 2. We couldn't find hardly anybody, and it was on this side of town. Which kind of know the area. Sure. But we couldn't find anyone, but we had a lot of volunteers come for that second shift. Like, we had to send out 3 cars. Wow. With volunteers, from different agencies. Okay, so it was really good. So it was a good first day. So we're doing it again today.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. Well, we'll start it off as we always do with the coin toss. Danny, go ahead and call it in the air.
Tails.
It is heads, so I'll start us off. Welcome to our first quarter. I'm going to kick off by defining our topic of the week, and then we'll cover some news headlines and announce the results from last week's home team locks of the week. As Danny said before, this is about employment for people experiencing homelessness. It is often characterized by extreme instability, low wages, and significant barriers, including a lack of a permanent address, phone, or transportation. While many are employed in service or labor sectors, they often work in high turnover jobs that do not provide enough income to secure stable housing. Key aspects of employment for those experiencing homelessness include barriers to employment. Major hurdles include a lack of a government-issued identification, ID, or Social Security card, the inability to maintain personal hygiene while they're working, lack of clean clothes for interviews, and no consistent place to sleep, which all hinders their performance on the job. The types of jobs, many find work in temporary, daily, or low-wage service and manual labor positions. A lot of service industry jobs, things like that. Working homeless reality. A significant percentage of people experiencing homelessness are actually employed, yet still cannot afford housing due to high costs and low wages. There's logistical challenges. The need to secure food, shelter, and manage health issues often interferes with consistent work schedules. And then, of course, support services. Organizations help with resumes, mock interviews, and job placement to help overcome these hurdles, which we have an employment center here, which does those things. Despite these challenges, many individuals are employed, working to bridge the gap between their current situation and permanent housing. So we know a little bit about employment resources and employment services for people. It's one of our key anchors here for services that we provide. not only do we have the Employment Resource Center, which, as we said, helps people with mock interviews, resume writing, job searches, job placements, things like that. But we also have our 12-week culinary arts training program, which gets people certified and then also does job placement directly from that training.
Yeah, and again, it's one of those myths that, just because you're homeless, you don't want to work, you don't have a job.
Yep.
But the Employment Center here not only helps our residents try to get something better, that's more secure,
That's right.
but also the community who comes out to just look for assistance, and we start from scratch with them again with the resume building and the mock interviews and all of that. But the good thing with us also is that we follow up with them after they leave.
Yeah.
30, 60, 90, up to a year we've been doing now
Yep.
to see where they're at. Are they still employed? Did they get something better?
Well, we try to follow up.
We try.
That's one of the harder things to do.
We try.
Unfortunately, or fortunately, whichever it is, a lot of people that get employed with us don't report back, or we lose contact with them.
And one of the biggest is the phone. It's the cell phone.
Yeah, absolutely.
It gets disconnected.
Yep.
We do email them as well.
That's right.
But we have reached out to a few who've given us updates. But we try to do it not only just to check up on them, but if they are falling back on hard times, to come back out and kind of start the process again.
Offer more help.
Offer more help.
Exactly.
Yeah. So,
but a lot of the people in the Employment Resource Center, in particular, you mentioned our residents, and you mentioned people coming out the street. They're literally homeless. I mean, and they're trying to find work while they are still without housing. And that's a big challenge.
I think one of the things I like about the Employment Center is our board of all the different jobs.
Yeah.
And it's kind of assigned to what you have experience in, or what you're interested in, or want to try to do new.
That's right.
So it kind of caters to your need. But then the culinary, like you said, it's great because once they start that culinary process and they graduate, or while they're ready to graduate, we start the conversation over where can we put you in to start working. And we've said before, we've hired a couple of people here from the culinary program. We've had people go to hospitals, hotels, so it's pretty good.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that, like you said, it's one of the biggest myths I think that people have out there is that they're not trying to work, or they're not working, but they are. A lot of the people that we find out there are working. They just can't afford the rent.
Exactly. Yeah. So, all right, now let's take a look at some of the headlines from the homeless world. So, in January 2026, 3 recently reelected big city mayors will begin their second term. Baltimore's Brandon Scott, Boston's Michelle Wu, and Cleveland's Justin Bibb. Over 4 years, each mayor tackled problems at their roots, loosening zoning barriers, accelerating development, and advancing public safety strategies that drove down violent crime. Voters noticed and rewarded these young mayors with their confidence once again. America lacks the housing supply needed to meet demand. The national deficit now sits between 3 million and 4 million homes, according to investment analysts. Baltimore, Boston, and Cleveland offer blueprints for the policies that expand supply. In Baltimore, Scott confronted decades of redlining and disinvestment with land use reform. He signed legislation allowing single-family homes to be converted into duplexes and triplexes, expanding allowances for accessory dwelling units, and accelerating approvals for multi-unit development. In Boston, affordability pressures remain among the highest in the nation, consistently placing it in the top tier of expensive housing markets. Wu approached the issue by attacking bottlenecks directly. She streamlined permitting, eliminated parking minimums, and launched a modernization plan for public housing that increases unit counts while also improving older buildings. These reforms shortened development timelines and expanded the pipeline for mixed-income housing, signaling the builders that Boston intended to speed production rather than constrain it. Cleveland, under Bibb, focused on aggressively unleashing development, housing the unhoused, and investment capital in innovative housing solutions like modern manufactured housing development communities. Bibb's administration also combined federal pandemic recovery funds with bank financing and philanthropic capital to support infill development, multi-unit housing, and the rehabilitation of vacant properties. In fact, under Bibb's leadership, the city has created a pilot to build 5,000 manufactured homes in 10 years. That's great.
Yeah.
Increasing supply, bringing down high costs, and creating job opportunities for Clevelanders in the process. Across these 3 cities, the pattern is clear. Leaders who increase flexibility through zoning reform, reduce friction by modernizing land use and permitting, and mobilize capital through public-private partnerships, create the conditions for more housing. When supply increases, affordability improves, neighborhoods stabilize, and crime declines. Kind of talked about that last week with
absolutely.
Yeah, these mayors prove that affordability is not a mystery. It is the predictable outcome of aligning land use policy with investment.
Yeah, that's great. I love this headline. I think it speaks to what politicians can be doing, rather than just saying we're going to do something about this issue or we're going to try and. So, I mean, each one of them has taken a different approach, but that's the other thing about a local geographic areas. Each area is different and needs different things. And each one of these mayors was able to do something to move that needle a little bit.
And all focusing on housing.
And that's what people are looking for, is they're looking for them to move the needle on housing and getting people housed or making housing more affordable or trying to make more stock available. I mean, any of those things. They're trying just about everything they possibly can to try and solve these problems.
The one in Cleveland doing 5,000 manufactured homes is fantastic.
I know, that is really, fantastic. Really good, That's great. And again, thinking outside the box, it's not one specific thing that they're trying. It's all these different things. Zoning, permitting, changing the land use. I mean, all of those different things.
They're looking at their city and seeing what is the need at that city, and addressing it right there.
And what can we do?
And what can you do?
What are the things that can really move the needle in our city versus everybody else's city? Yeah. And again, I'm glad to see they got reelected. I mean, that's I think people will react to that if politicians follow through with what they say they're going to do, and they try and give positive, positive results from what they're trying to do.
And it's great for other cities to see, okay, they did it this way. Does this work for us? Let's try this here as well.
Fantastic model.
It works. Yeah, exactly.
That's right. It's great at modeling, and it lets people know that they can try different things, but also it's scalable. I mean, that you can do it in large scale as well.
Yeah, definitely.
So I think that's fantastic.
Yep. All right. And let's see how things are shaping up in the playoffs and look ahead to the Super Bowl and the off season. So we had the LA Rams go against Seattle.
Yeah, absolutely.
And Seattle took that game 31-27.
They did, and it was a really good game. Man, it went back and forth. Yep. That was almost last one to hold the ball. Basically,
pretty much. Yeah.
I thought it was going to be more defensive. I really did. The Rams have a good defense. Seattle has a good defense. I think the issue with these two is that they know each other so well that it's almost like you can't.
They played a couple of times this year, right?
Two times.
This is a
previous.
Third,
so this is a third time that they played, and I think that's indicative of kind of the divisional. What do you call it? Divisional rivalries that they have, is that they know each other so well they can't really throw anything new. They can't really,
they're reading each other's
trick
plays
somebody
really well,
or anything like that. I mean. And as you can see, the offense really kind of took over for the game. It was a really, really good game, though.
And then we had New England versus Denver, and that game was New England took that 10-7. So
yeah, did you watch that game?
I did not.
Oh my gosh, snow!
I saw that. I saw that in the news. Yeah,
at the beginning of the
there was nothing
because
I put it on a little bit. Yeah,
it was
and then it just
bright,
came down,
and then it just started coming down. About halftime, it just started. A blizzard basically worked its way through, and they really couldn't do anything. Either one of these teams.
So we have Seattle against New England
in the Super Bowl.
Which is in 2 weeks.
In 2 weeks, absolutely. So
what are your thoughts on the Super Bowl? I got notes for you. I took notes.
Oh, you got notes. Wow. Okay. Well, let me hear what you got. Let me hear what you think about it.
So first, who do you pick?
Wait.
We're going to talk about this later, right? Because we
are going to talk about it later in our locks of the week. Yes.
So who, did you pick already? You picked your lock?
Yes,
you did. Okay,
you picked for me. I
did pick for you because you picked for me last week. You're correct. I did pick. All right. So anyway, we'll get to that. But yes.
Yeah.
But who do you want to win that game?
I would love to see Seattle win it. I think Seattle, I think
here.
with Sam Darnold there, I think he's got a really good chance.
Yep.
New England is pretty young. Mike Vrabel is their first-year coach there, so I think they're going to have more opportunities in the future.
Yep.
I think with Seattle, they're a little bit on the older side. Like I said, Sam Darnold is not a young kid anymore, and so I'd love to see him be able to get something out of that.
So I was looking at, I did kind of went through NFL and all these different ESPN, and so I pulled up kind of their analysis on their strengths and weaknesses.
Yeah.
So Seattle has a balanced offense and defense,
Right.
strong quarterback leadership.
Yes.
They have high efficiency in advanced metrics and consistent playoff performances. Now,
I would agree with all that.
Their
Yep.
their weaknesses is limited Super Bowl experience for some players,
That's true.
and they can struggle when pressured early.
Yeah, I think so too.
They're saying key quarterbacks is Sam Darnold, and then
Yep.
their defensive leader is strong secondary and a pass rush unit.
Yeah, absolutely. I think their secondary. If they can get ahead of you, if Seattle can get ahead, which is what the Rams did really well, is they stayed ahead of Seattle for most of the game. They were trying to either keep even with them or get ahead of them. And if Seattle can get ahead of you, they can really shut you down at that point because their pass rush, their secondary, really strong units for them. Yeah.
So then New England, their strength is they have an elite defensive discipline,
Yep.
their resilience in close games,
Yeah.
strong coaching and game planning, and then their weaknesses is inconsistent offensive production,
Yeah.
and they are the young quarterback under pressure.
Yeah, I would agree with all of that. I think Mike Vrabel is a fantastic coach for New England. I think he really has them disciplined now. He has them believing in what they're trying to do.
Yep.
Drake May, the quarterback, still makes some bad decisions sometimes. He throws into some coverages. He turns the ball over sometimes. He'll take some chances when I don't think he necessarily has to. And I think that's kind of where it's going to come down to. I know Seattle had a big blow to their offensive backfield when Zach Charbonnet went down, but Kenneth Walker stepped up, so that was really good as well. So I think it's going to be a really good matchup.
I think so too.
I expect the defenses actually to play a little better in this game than what we've been seeing. Now, New England, of course, had a good defense against Denver, but I kind of chalk that up to the weather more than anything else, and the fact that Denver had their backup quarterback in there. So I mean, I don't think it really was a good test of what was happening. But they got the job done.
Were they expecting the snow or just?
No, I don't think they were.
'Cause it just came out of
didn't seem
nowhere.
like they were really. They thought it was going to come in that quickly. I think they knew it was coming, but they
accumulated pretty
yeah,
quick.
Absolutely.
Yeah. All right, so let's talk about Bears and Cowboys off-season thoughts.
Absolutely.
So there's a lot of crying through the off-season from
well,
myself.
that's
but,
true. Yeah.
So I got some points on that, but you can go with your Bears.
All
first.
right, let me go with my Bears. So I think in the offseason, I think what we really need to focus on is number one, in our draft. I'm hoping we can get some good defensive players. A pass rush is really what we need. We're in desperate need of a pass rush. If we can get a good pass rusher, either through the draft or a trade, which I don't really see happening. I think it's probably going to be more draft. But if we can get a really good pass rusher in the draft, I think we could really be set in terms of where we are. Our offense is pretty set with what we have to do. Our defense needs a little bit of bolstering, I think. More than that, the only other thing that I would recommend in the offseason, they got to get Caleb to a quarterback coach of some kind. He's got to get more. He's got to get. He's got to get more consistent, and his completion percentage has to go up. If his completion percentage goes up, then he turns into, I think, a really great quarterback. But if it doesn't, if he remains wild and is still throwing a lot of incompletions, I think we're going to have a problem there. But honestly, I think if he can get his completion percentage up and get more accurate with his passes, then we start to look like Detroit Lions the last couple of years under Ben Johnson's offenses.
Kind of all those close games
Yeah.
you guys had. It's like
Yeah.
eventually
Yeah.
that's going to run out, like it did for you this year.
It absolutely did.
That luck ran out.
That's
know?
right. That's exactly
It was
right.
good to watch.
Yes, it was good to watch.
It was good
entertaining.
TV. It was entertaining,
Absolutely.
but it's also stressful as well. So
Yeah, absolutely.
So I asked my brother this as well because
Yeah.
he's a Dallas fan.
Hey, sure.
Longer than me. So his first thing was Dak Prescott. Is Dak good enough for the team?
Oh, wow.
And the playoffs.
Really?
And can he build a Super Bowl team around his
Wow.
contract? And because that's always been the problem with us is we have this quarterback we pay millions of dollars for, and it's just it goes nowhere.
Yeah.
And then we crumble in this year. We didn't even make the playoffs.
Yeah,
we just
true.
crumbled.
Yeah.
We talked about our secondary this year and how bad they were.
Yeah.
My brother also mentioned a stronger run game. And have a better offensive line, which I think our offensive line was pretty good this year.
I think the offense. I think
line
the
was
offense overall was pretty
Was
good.
good. Yeah, it was the defense where we struggled.
Your running back, I do agree.
We need
You
a better
do need
running back,
running back.
Yeah.
But I don't think it's your offensive line. I mean, I think you have some young players there, but they're gaining experience.
Yeah,
and
that's what I
going
told. I said I think our offensive line was pretty good. It was the defense that was killing us
The
this year.
defense was killing you.
He also put what did he?
And you got rid of your defensive coordinator.
Yes. So we're looking at that,
So-
and then Jerry Jones. That's just a whole podcast to talk about. Like we have to dedicate a whole episode for that. We just don't know what he's gonna do, but
Right.
he's just so like last year what he did with Parsons, right?
Parsons,
that he just moved them out of nowhere. It was a surprise to everyone. It's just,
Yeah, trying to.
But we need a
outsmart
good
himself,
defensive
yeah.
coordinator, definitely.
Yes.
But yeah, my brother was like Dak, and I was like, well, he's not that bad.
Yeah, if
He's-
y'all
he's-
could get a good defensive coordinator,
Right.
I think he could make some changes. I mean, I've been watching some of the defenses throughout the year. Brian Flores in Minnesota, fantastic defensive coach, and they don't really have superstars there.
Right.
And I think his scheme is what really helps him do that. Mike McDonald, the head coach for Seattle, is a really good defensive strategist. And again, I don't really think that Seattle has these really high-profile defensive players. Right. It's the scheme that they run. And if you can find a defensive coordinator to come in and run that kind of scheme for your defense with that offense, I think then it takes off. I think then it just absolutely takes off.
We struggled a lot with that defense this year. So
yeah, absolutely.
We'll see.
The problem finding a good defensive coordinator is that most of the really good defensive coordinators want to be head coaches.
Right.
And so it's hard to get someone to move laterally.
Right.
And anyone who isn't a defensive coordinator yet, it's going to take them a year to install their system and really get going. So I think it's going to take a little while, but we'll see.
We shall see. Yep.
All right. Well, that wraps up the first quarter, and we'll be back after this break.
Hello, this is Danny Arroyo, and we have big news from Pathlight Home. We're excited to introduce our newest social enterprise, the F&H Thrift Store, now open at Maxwell Garden at 4049 South Orange Blossom Trail. This isn't just thrift shopping, it's shopping with purpose. Every purchase helps fund housing and supportive services for the residents we serve, creating a real impact right here in our community. Open weekdays from 9:30 to 4 p.m., Monday through Friday. Come shop and explore and support this exciting new chapter. At F&H Thrift Store, sustainability meets opportunity, and every item helps light the path home. This is the second quarter. We are getting a little deeper into a homelessness topic with something we call offense versus defense. We will each take turns discussing some opposing viewpoints of our topic this week. The question we asked this week is, should an employer hire someone while they are still homeless? Please remember that we are trying to show both sides of the issues. These do not necessarily reflect our individual stances on these positions. So, Carl, you have the yes this week.
Yes, I do.
And I have the no's.
All right. Should an employer hire someone while they are still homeless? I say yes. Here are my reasons and rationale for it. Talent and work ethic are not tied to housing. Homelessness is usually caused by job loss, medical bills, family breakdown, rent spikes, not laziness or incompetence. Many people experiencing homelessness have a strong work history, are highly motivated to stabilize their lives. They just need a chance to re-enter the workforce. You may gain a loyal, hardworking employee who values the opportunity deeply. And we've seen that with some of our staff here, is they value the work and the jobs that they have. Employment is one of the strongest paths out of homelessness. A job provides income, structure and routine, dignity and self-worth, access to housing and services. Hiring someone can be life-changing, not just helpful. Next, reduce turnover in the long run. Studies and employer anecdotes often show that when people facing hardship are supported, they stay longer. They show strong commitment. Absenteeism often drops once stability improves. And finally, ethical and community impact. From a value standpoint, it promotes fairness and inclusion to hire individuals. It reduces reliance on public assistance. It strengthens the local economy. Some organizations also benefit from tax credits sometimes, or a positive brand reputation and morale. I know we always try to promote the organizations that are helping us hire our people. And definitely. So they get basically free publicity. And again, a positive brand reputation. All right, Danny, you have the cons.
All right, I have the cons. So reliability challenges, at least initially. Without stable housing, a person may face transportation issues, limited access to showers and laundry, phone or internet instability, health or sleep disruptions. This can affect punctuality and consistency, especially early on. Workplace readiness constraints. Some roles require clean uniforms, secure storage of equipment, background checks, or permanent addresses. Not all workplaces are equipped to accommodate this without support systems. Next, support burden on the employer. Small businesses may struggle with flexible scheduling needs, crisis interruptions, emotional labor if boundaries aren't clear. This isn't a lack of compassion, it's a capacity issue. And last, customer-facing or safety-sensitive roles. In some environments, perception matters, fair or not. Safety protocols are strict. Errors are high consequences. Employers may reasonably worry about risk exposure.
Yeah. This is a good one. And this is kind of that whole chicken and egg thing, you know? We want people to have both. We want people to have stable housing and good, reliable, affordable wage income. Right. The question is, which do you do first? And we kind of balance between that. We have, like we've talked about before, our Employment Resource Center. We have people coming in who are still homeless with us, and we're trying to find jobs for, in hopes that it will help them get into the housing. And then on the other side, we have housing where we bring people in, we get them stabilized in housing, and then we help them secure employment after that. So it goes back and forth. And these, I think all of these really are really good points. I'll talk about yours first. Reliability challenges. Yeah, it's hard. It's hard to work while you're homeless because transportation is an issue. You know, even waking up in the morning and stuff, because if you don't have an alarm clock, if you don't have a place where you're sleeping well, all of those things make it hard.
Yeah, and we kind of just want to touch on that real quick because that's the only one that stood out to me that we I see here because of our culinary program. Yeah. They struggle to come to class on time. They struggle to get here, and the weekends are hard on them.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right now with the weather, with just the environment that they're in, just again doing the pig count yesterday, and listening to where people were. We went to one of the spots we hit was an encampment yesterday, and just listening to the stories, and we understand the barriers of trying to go to a job and trying to go to a class, and
absolutely,
go ahead.
Yeah, absolutely. Workplace readiness constraints, clean uniforms, secure storage of equipment sometimes, particularly our construction workers and things like that. They don't have places to keep their tools. A mechanic, they don't have a place to keep their stuff. And I've heard that many times, that it's a real barrier, which is why some homeless service providers now start providing storage places for these.
Yeah, we at the shelter where I worked a couple of years ago, we had that. We had a check-in for everyone to check in their stuff and take it out in the morning.
And make sure that
way nothing was lost.
Didn't get stolen or lost or anything like that. Yeah. A support burden on the employer, yes, a little bit. I mean, with reasonable accommodations, law and statute in place, I think that one's probably not as strong. Customer facing or safety sensitive roles, again, it comes back to that idea that that they have some issues sometimes to deal with, like, cleaning their clothes and, their hygiene and things like that is, in some cases it's hard, safety as well. Like on a construction site or something, you don't want someone out there operating heavy equipment or even, regular tools who hasn't had a good night's sleep, who, hasn't been, isn't fresh and ready to go, so those are some of the things that employers really have to think about.
Yeah, I think on your side, I mean, someone's homeless, you want to get them housed without a job, it's just not going to happen.
Yeah.
We have to have companies willing to give someone a chance, right?
Absolutely,
and try and see, and again, it goes back and we talk about education, right?
Yep.
It's someone who is hiring someone who is homeless. Educate yourself on what the barriers are. Educate yourself on conversations with the person to see what they're going through.
Well, and the supports that are out there,
the support,
the resources.
exactly. That's what I was going to say.
I mean, we would love to help people get employed. So if an employer comes to us and says, hey, I got someone who's struggling with this, that, or the other thing, we're going to do everything we can to try and maintain that. The drop-in center is a perfect example of that.
Yep.
We can provide resources at the drop-in center that person can use, laundry, showers, meals, things like that. Again, one of the biggest issues you run into, though, is that flexibility of schedule, right? Is they have to be able to get to our drop-in center during the day, and if that's the only time their schedule allows them to work, that's going to make it really challenging for them.
And we talked about affordable housing, I think the last show or the one before, and we talked about what happens to the person when they get their mental health, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
I think the same thing with a job.
Stress.
It's a stress reliever. Their mental health gets better. They feel more secure. They more positive.
Yeah.
So all of that kind of ties in to the next step of getting them housed. So
yeah, absolutely. So I mean, it really is a chicken and egg thing. I think, like you said, I think what it really comes down to is education, though. I think if the employer can have a good conversation with someone who may be struggling with homelessness, and this is not necessarily people who they're trying to hire, but even the people in there that are already working with them, is several people, and I've heard these stories over and over. Especially the large employers like hospitals and places like that. Yeah. Where they have people who are literally homeless, who are living out of their car, trying to make it.
We read story about schools.
That's right, schools with teachers and things like that. I mean, you hear all these stories about this, so I think employers really need to be aware of what their employees are going through, and try and help them with those resources.
If you see an employee who's struggling and something shifted and there's a different vibe, have a conversation and see how you can help them.
Absolutely.
So,
yeah.
Well, Pathlight's position is we believe employers should give people who are homeless an opportunity to work, but they must realize that until the person is housed, they may need a little grace. And it is in the best interest of every employer to make sure their people are and remain housed if they want the best workers for their company.
Yeah,
exactly what we just said. Yeah.
That's exactly right. And again, knowing what resources are there. I think that's for all the human resources, departments that are out there listening to us. That's something that you should have conversations with your homeless service providers prior to any of these things coming up, so you know where the resources are, and you know where you can make referrals for people to help them out. Well, we've made it to the halfway point, and during halftime, we want to take a moment for fan interaction and highlight an inspired quote related to housing and homelessness.
All right. So let's take a moment to hear from our listeners. So, the first question comes from Chad. Is panhandling work for people who are homeless?
Ooh, that's a good question.
So yesterday, one of those questions we asked her in the pit was, we had someone writing with us yesterday who asked some questions about, well, how much are you making while you're out there? And the numbers, Coral, who was with us, looked at me like, wow. I was like, I know. So,
it can be work. It certainly is not easy to do panhandling, that's for sure. Everybody that I've talked to who panhandles out there, it's hard work. I mean, you got to be out in the elements, you got to be out in the sun, you got to stand there for long periods of time, and basically you're begging people to give you something out of the kindness of their heart. Yeah. And so it can be very tiring and very work related. Now, is it work? I don't know. I mean, in the sense that they're getting something for it, maybe so, but it's not consistent. It's not reliable. There are all kinds of dangers that go along
not
with
safe
that.
sometimes,
You
right?
know,
Yeah.
you can be a target if you're collecting money out there and people see you. Other people who are, not as kind see you collecting money, you can be a target. I mean, there's a lot of issues that go into it.
Yeah,
Which
we heard one gentleman yesterday. I think it was in our morning shift that we did, and we kind of were asking him those questions, and he was very honest. He said, I have my spot where I go to, and they know me already.
Yeah.
And the same people that I see just give me. And he was like, I don't have a sign. I don't have anything written on anything. They just
Wow.
know me, and they just give me money.
Wow.
And I'm like, okay, well, good for
Yeah,
you.
yeah,
So,
absolutely.
yeah. All right, the next question comes from Maria. Should people who are homeless be more focused on getting housed or working first?
That's a good one. And again, we just talked about this. It's the chicken and the egg.
Yeah.
I think maybe it's both. And
It kinda goes hand in hand a
thought
little
about
bit.
that. Yeah, I thought about this a little bit. I think there are some jobs that you can do while you're still homeless that might give you a little bit of money in your pocket to be able to survive or move on to something else.
Kind of like the labor readies and
That's
those
exactly
type
right.
of places.
Something you can do day labor, something like that, where you can get some quick
And they
money,
pay you cash, yep.
have that available, and help you move to the next step. But I think you've got to have both of those things in your brain. You've got to have both of those goals situated in your brain. I think you work those short jobs or those small jobs to get a little bit of cash to help you get into housing. But you got to get connected with service providers. You can't just go out there and try and work your way into housing on your own. In most cases, you're probably not going to make it. You're just not going to make it. You need some assistance.
You need that support.
And that's what we're here for. I mean, that's what our agencies, places like Pathlight Home, our drop-in center pathways, places like that, we're trying to help people get employed and find housing. And I think that's the key to the whole thing is you can work first, certainly, like I said, get a little bit of money, but you got to have other resources that help you with that longer term plan because you're not going to be able to sustain housing with the short amount of money that you're going to get or the small amount of money.
And again, there's programs that will help you get into housing if you don't have income.
That's right.
With the next step of getting income.
That's exactly right.
And then kind of phase you out of that whole assistance type of thing.
That is exactly right.
Yeah, I think it goes hand in hand in a way. So some people, they just want money right away, and they want to, but I agree with you. I think them doing it on their own and been living on the streets for whatever long time, it's hard.
It's going to be really
you need
hard.
that support from different agencies and
absolutely.
So
I think housing is the long-term solution, but you can work a little bit beforehand to try and help you get into that housing. But you got to have housing. Housing is the key to the whole thing. That's your sustainability. That's your long-term plan.
Definitely.
Got to be there. All right, time to get inspired by our quote of the week. Now, inspired is a unique word.
Okay.
Because you can be inspired by good quotes, you can be inspired by bad quotes. And I would say in this one, this is not the most positive quote, but it is a good quote, and I think it can inspire people. This quote comes from Barbara Ehrenreich, who is the author of a book titled Nickel and Dimed on Not Getting By in America. Fantastic book, by the way. I read this book, and it is fantastic. It really talks about how someone making low wages tries to either get into housing or maintain their housing, and it's hard. It's really hard. No one ever said that you could work harder even than you ever thought possible, and still find yourself sinking ever deeper into poverty and debt. And that's true.
Yeah.
Some jobs that we have in the United States right now just are not getting people to the levels that they need. And we see this all the time with people falling into homelessness.
It's that living check to check.
That's right.
It's living check to check, and if something happens and your car breaks down, there goes
everything that you've been working for and everything you've been trying to get to.
And now you go into panic mode and not know what's
That's
next,
exactly right.
and then just the catch up part of it.
That's right. So
It's hard.
I think the inspirational part of this quote, which I completely believe in, that this is a real thing, is that's what people should be thinking about. We just got done talking about how, which do you do, employment or housing first. You've got to make sure that you're working as hard as you possibly can, as much as you possibly can, until you can get stabilized to a point where you can kind of back off a little bit. But you got to give yourself a little bit of cushion there. You got to give yourself a little bit of something, some reserve funds, something that you can have there to be able to fall back on if there's an emergency that happens or something bad that happens to you.
Definitely.
So,
yeah. All right, and that concludes our halftime. Please stay with us after this short message.
Hello, I'm Gigi Ramirez, the Senior Director of Fundraising and Engagement here at Pathlight Home. For over 30 years, we've helped more than 8,000 people transition from homelessness to hope. But when someone moves from the streets to their own home, they often have nothing. That's why we provide immediate essentials, everything from bedding and food to soap and cookware, to help them truly feel at home. Beyond housing, Pathlight offers career training and supportive services, like our 12-week culinary program, helping residents gain skills, find jobs, and rebuild independence. You can be part of the story. Volunteer your time, donate essential goods, or become a monthly Pathlight hero, ensuring every neighbor has a chance to thrive. Visit pathlighthome.org to donate today.
it's now time to kick off the third quarter by highlighting the goodwill and good work in the NFL community and announcing our NFL home team locks of the week. All right, so for our NFL player spotlight, we are highlighting Houston Texans linebacker Azeez Al-Shaair. His passion for giving back is shaped by his childhood experiences, including the period when his family was homeless after a fire destroyed their home in Tampa, Florida. Even in their most difficult moments, he remembers his mother continuing to care for others, instilling in him the importance of empathy and perspective. From the moment he arrived in Houston, Al-Shaair immersed himself in serving the local community. Now a captain for the second consecutive year, he has spent time this season with the United Way, an organization that helped him and his family when he was young. It means everything to me because when I see these kids, I just see myself, Al-Shaair said. As a kid, I always wished I had the opportunity to meet an NFL player to be inspired by. I went through the same highs and lows to get where I am today, but I'm here because of all the hard work and things I endured to get here. I just want to give people hope. That's fantastic. Yep. That's great. And again, he is the Houston Texans Walter Payton Man of the Year nominee.
Yes.
That is coming up, I guess next week, actually.
Yes.
It'll be the beginning of February. They'll do NFL honors, and they'll give out all the MVPs, and the Walter Payton Man of the Year will be announced.
And they'll get the award in the Super Bowl.
Yeah,
they hand it
absolutely.
to.
Yep.
Very good.
Yeah.
Giving back. All right.
And now on to our Lock of the Week results. All right, great. Next segment.
Nope. We got to follow script.
All right. Last week, I selected the Denver Broncos to beat the New England Patriots and lost again. New England won that game 10-7. We already talked about all the details of it.
Yep.
Danny?
Yeah, so Rams played Seattle. Seattle won 31-7. So call
27.
27-31. So call, please give your
I am currently 8-15.
Oh, you tried,
Danny.
I am 15-8. I'm the opposite.
So
you kept adding 2 points. You said 2 points in the playoffs, but
right.
we're adding 10 for the Super Bowl.
There we go. This week's selection.
This is gonna
10
be hard
points.
if you beat me on this because of the 10 points.
Why? Why would it be hard?
Because
you picked my team, Danny.
Do you
That
want-
is a little behind the scenes, everyone? Danny picked the teams for the Super Bowl.
you picked the team last week for
I'm
the
just
playoffs.
letting you know.
Okay.
I am taking the Patriots, and you are taking the Seahawks.
the winners, of course.
Of course.
Yes.
There you go.
So we'll see. We'll
Great.
see next in
We'll
2
see.
weeks. In 2 weeks.
That's right.
Yep,
In 2 weeks. Absolutely.
All right. Stay tuned for our wrap up after this message.
Hello, everyone. I'm Carl Falconer, the president and CEO of Pathlight Home, and I'm often asked by many in the community, what can I do to help end homelessness? I would like to invite you to join Pathlight Home's efforts. Pathlight Home is a 501c3 nonprofit organization in Central Florida. We currently have 560 units of housing that we provide to individuals experiencing homelessness, but we also provide additional support through employment resource centers and mental health services. We have a drop-in day center where people can come in from the heat, do laundry, get meals, all in preparation to get them into housing eventually and off the streets. Community involvement is key to the success of our efforts, and we love when community members want to get involved with Pathlight Home. There are 3 things we invite you to do to help. Number 1, consider supporting us with funding. No donation is too small, and every dollar has an impact on our community. You can go to pathlighthome.org and click our donate button to contribute anytime. Number 2 is volunteering. We'd love to have volunteers come in and help us with any of our projects. We have ongoing projects and needs, but are also open to individuals and groups sharing specific talents in ways that build up our residents. Number 3 is take a tour with us. Come here to our facility and see what we do for yourself. It's the best way to get an inside look at what we're doing at Pathlight Home each day. We think it's important to understand the work it takes to fight homelessness and love the opportunity to meet community members who are passionate about the issue. We love our Central Florida community and are grateful every day for the continued support. And again, to get involved, go to pathlighthome.org. Thank you. Welcome to the 4th quarter, where we will wind down this episode by reflecting on a homelessness MVP and fumble of the week before wrapping up with our key takeaway.
All right, so let's start with our MVP of the week. So New York City Mayor Zoran Mamdani, who just got elected, promised to end homeless encampment sweeps. But local officials are pushing his administration for what comes next and turning to social media to complain about encampments in the neighborhoods. The residents are forcing an early test for Mamdani, who pitched a new way of approaching street homelessness ahead of inauguration. He said he's focusing on permanently housing people rather than cleaning them from sidewalks and public spaces, only for them to return days or even hours later. The answer is not that someone should find the safest places outside, Mamdani said Wednesday when asked about addressing street homelessness. The answer is, how do we connect them with the services they need? And that's going to be the policies that we'll be putting forward. So
That's
very
great.
quick and to the point.
Very quick to the point. Very nice.
He's addressing it, and this whole sweeping thing.
And he understands that it's not working.
It's not working.
You can't sweep, and then they come back days or hours later. That doesn't do anything.
Yep.
So try to address the issue. Now, he hasn't necessarily, like I said, they're pushing him now.
Pushing him already.
Because they're like, what's the policy? You got to have something in place that actually does this.
But at least he's starting the conversation here, and he's saying what he wants to do.
Yes,
And
exactly.
let's see if he continues with that.
Exactly,
So,
yeah. All right, now onto our fumble of the week. This takes us to Los Angeles, California. The wife of a homeless charity boss who allegedly cheated California taxpayers out of $23 million was spotted dashing out of her $7 million mansion Sunday. Whew, $7 million mansion. Can you even imagine what a $7 million mansion looks like?
Yeah.
As her neighbors dished on the couple's lavish lifestyle, Alexander Sufer and Ashley Aframian allegedly blew $40,000 just on landscaping at their Westwood estate, which the feds claim was bought with fraudulently obtained funds meant to help Los Angeles homeless community. The neighborhood is buzzing, one local resident said, taking money marked for the homeless. It's horrible, horrible, said another outraged neighbor. Aframian dressed in a gray sweater adorned with blue stars, her hair pulled back into a messy ponytail, emerged from the couple's modern mansion, ignoring questions about the accusations against her hubby as she ran to her luxury black SUV. Whew. Neither one of us live like that, do we, Danny?
Nope.
Yeah. Federal and local prosecutors on Friday accused Sufer of using his nonprofit to scam the public out of $23 million in homeless funds, using at least $10 million to buy his swanky home, take luxury vacations, including to the White Lotus Hotel in Hawaii, buy a $125,000 Range Rover, and pay for his kids' private school tuition. The couple has 3 very young children and spent at least $40,000 on landscaping, claimed one neighbor, adding that their house on the quiet tree-lined block was constantly being renovated. The fortress-like estate was blanketed with security cameras and a fountain bubbled near the front door, with designer furniture adorning the front yard. The alleged scam including Sufer leasing properties for homeless housing from landlords at a market rate, and then paying himself above market rate for the same housing, the Fed said. Sufer, 42, was released on $1.5 million bond pending a hearing in federal court Monday. He could face more than 3 decades behind bars if convicted. Whew. Wow. And obviously this is a red flag. Mm-hmm. I mean, if you got somebody who's living like a movie star...
Yep.
And running a nonprofit, that's just, I mean, unless they truly are a movie star who has a nonprofit, mm-hmm. It's obviously there's a red flag here. Yep. And I mean, it's just, even the appearance of this is just, I mean...
And what's funny is the neighbors just see it, and they know there's like, this doesn't seem right.
No, it doesn't seem right, exactly. It's the reason why I took back my luxury vehicle.
I know. When
never had a luxury vehicle.
When you drove up with that Rolls Royce, I was like, whoa, what's going on here?
Never had a Rolls Royce in my life, and right now I'm driving
it's just again, taking advantage of those that's a lot of money. He just stole some people's...
And again, just even the... perception of this is just bad.
$23 million.
It's bad news. And so, yeah.
Yep.
Anyway.
All right. And finally, here's our key takeaway for this episode. So getting people who are homeless employed is a juggling act between the opportunities, the support, and the stability they need to be productive employee. Employment can be a long-term solution to housing stability, but without the housing early on in a job, it can be complicated to sustain. Which is what we've said this whole episode is.
Yeah, absolutely.
You need housing to...
You gotta have both things. Yep. You gotta have income and you gotta have housing.
Yep.
One way or the other, mm-hmm. You gotta be able to figure it out. It's a math problem, right? Isn't that what they say? It's a math problem. Mm-hmm. You gotta be able to pay rent and you gotta be able to stay housed. But it's figuring out how to get both of those things when you have neither one.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's really the key. Is trying to figure it out. And like we said before, it's about resources. You've got to plug into those resources that can allow you to help you get both of those things and keep them both.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
All right. Well, that concludes our episode for the week. Remember, if you have any questions or comments for us, please email us at questions@pathlighthome.org. As always, we leave the last words for our beloved co-founder, the late Reverend Fred Maxwell. Take it away.
I'm still dreaming that we will become able and sufficient to increase the housing of homeless. This is merely a beginning.